Hello, my crafty friends. Welcome to Stamp with Teah. I am so glad to be here with you today. Today, we are launching the new mini catalog for January through April 2024. If I don't sound quite right, it's because I'm fighting a cold, so please bear with me in my slightly strained voice. I am Stamp with Teah. I'm Teah Woodward. I'm located out of Richland, Washington in the United States, and I've been a demonstrator with Stampin' Up! Since 2019. Today, I am going to demonstrate a card featuring the Painted Lavender and Perennial Postage collection. So the Painted Lavender has this photopolymer stamp set as well as coordinating dies, and then the Perennial Postage has the red rubber stamps and these coordinating dies. So we're going to jump right in, and I've started with a piece of Lost Lagoon, and I have 8.5 by 5.5. I've scored it at 4 1/4, and I've burnished it. Then I've used the largest of the postage stamp dies, and I've cut my matte layer out of Pretty Peacock. And then I've cut another piece out of the coordinating designer series paper, which you can find on the website. And these are just very small samples. You can find full pages so that you can see how absolutely stunning and beautiful these are. I recommend you go to stampinup.com, look up Perennial Lavender 12 by 12 designer series paper, and you can see the full sheets, and you will just be blown away. Not one page of this is unattractive. Every single page is beautiful. So today I've chosen to use this kind of gingham look. So I'm going to start by adhering this. See how even the back of that is just so beautiful. So I'm going to adhere this to my matte layer. And I'm going to do it just a little bit cattywampus. I wanted it a little bit off. Whoa, I was doing it a lot off there. Yeah, that works right like that. And then I am going to adhere this to the front of my card base. And I could have put the matte layer on first. And I actually normally do. So I'm going to center that on there. Now, to speed things up on this video, I have pre-stamped and pre-cut everything, but I will show you a couple of tips that I have. Now, the inside of my card, the matte is actually the same. It's going to be the same matte layer, and then there'll be a piece of white for your message, for the message liner. And I will get to that in a minute, and we will be stamping on that message liner. But for the outside of this card, I wanted to show you. So I guess I could show you the card. This is the card that we're making today. And to get this kind of, see, there's two different tones of this purple in here. I have used both Gorgeous Grape and Highland Heather. And I have used sponge daubers to apply that to my stamp so that I've got various shades. I'm not sure how well that's being picked up on this video, how different those look, but there are different shades of purple in that. And again, so sorry for the strain in my voice. So I am going to apply this darker, and I like to apply it to the base, and then I like to kind of go up the middle of some of those fronds or some of those stems of the flowers. And I'm going to hit the tips of a few. I'm going to go along that outer edge. And then, so that was Gorgeous Grape. And then I'm going to take my other sponge dauber, and I'm going to use Highland Heather. And I am going to hit where I have not already applied ink. And try to blend this in real well. And I believe I've got ink everywhere now. And give that a nice squish. And look at that beautiful image. Now, I've actually already stamped and die cut this, and so I've got it ready to go for my project. But I just wanted to show you how I created that, that subtle shading by using those sponge daubers. And I'll do the same thing on the inside of the card, which I could go ahead and just do right now, since I have it all out. Might as well save myself that step in a minute. Sorry if that was confusing at all. Oops. This is just a cold that I've got, and it's been lingering. Kind of a bummer, but I'm still able to craft, so that has been a blessing. All right. And just adding that ink back in there. I'm not actually going to use this entire stamp, but there we go. And I am, just to make sure that I don't get ink on my tabletop here, I'm going to make sure my edge comes off over here. And that looks exactly like I would like it to look. I'm just going to grab my chamois and clean off my stamp. I love my chamois, and it does such a beautiful job. Then for this, okay, so that's all the stamping that I'm doing on the inside of the card. I can set that aside, and that's ready to go now later on. The only the stamping that I've used for these stems, I've used Pretty Peacock, and set that aside. So again, I've actually already stamped and die cut it. And what I've done, let me pull that stamp set over so I can show you which piece I've used. So for the lavender, I used this large bundle here. And for the stems, I've used this set right here. Now for some of the stamping in the background of this card, I am going to use this stamp right here. So I'm going to do that next. And I probably should have done that before I assembled this, but I didn't, so here we go. I'm living on the edge. So I am only going to ink, because I was a little careless. Let's see, here, I can do this. I got a little careless. This is what happens when you don't feel good, right? You make mistakes. So I'm gonna stamp, and then I'm going to stamp again so that I get the illusion of a little bit more fullness. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. There we go. And hopefully that will line up just fine. If not, I'll find a way to fix it. Actually, I'll be able to fix it with my greenery that I'm adding, because I'm adding some greenery here, and see, that's going to blend things in just fine. All right. So now I can put this away. And I've actually already stamped the sentiment as well, and I've used the Pretty Peacock for the sentiment. And the sentiment I pulled from Perennial Postage. It's the "Thank you for your friendship" right here. All right, I'm actually going to disassemble. I've got two of these detail die cuts. These are part of the painted lavender dies. So it's this one here. There's a few detail dies. There's one here that's got some flowers. There's another one here that you can either make greenery or some flower buds. The rest of these cut out stamped images. And then this is the leafy portion that I'm using. So I'm going to grab a pair of paper snips, and I am going to snip right there, right there. So I've got 2 pieces of greenery from one, and I'm going to do the exact same thing here. And I'm going to use these to create my bouquet. I'm going to bring in my mini glue dots. Now, because I know I need to cover up a little bit of that stamping right there, because I was broad in the width of my stamping. See, I can actually bring this down a little bit, but then my stems have to come up a bit. So I have to be very thoughtful in this. I got a little bit careless. That's actually going to work out okay though. All right. I am going to put a mini glue dot. You could use regular adhesive. I just happen to like mini glue dots when I assemble my bouquets and my flowers and such. There we go. I'm liking that. And then I'm going to want another one over here at about the same location. So you just do this to fill into your personal aesthetic, what you like. There's several lovely flower choices to pick from in this stamp set. And now I'm going to position these approximately like this. I'm actually going to be putting dimensionals on the back of this, these flowers. Oh, that was a little bit too lined up with the other flowers. Hold on a second here. Let me try that again. Isn't it just the worst, not feeling good? There's a lot of people not feeling good right now. Okay, that actually looks really good. And I don't want this one to be as tall. I want this one to be a little shorter. About like that. And then I'm going to use a mini glue dot to attach these stems to the base of those flowers. And then I'm going to apply dimensionals to the back of the flowers and the stems. There we go. And so I am good with everything overlapping outside of the edges of my die cut and my card front. So this would be my card base, my matte layer, and my card front. Next will be my dimensionals. Oops. That's the other reason I'm okay using the mini glue dots, the mini glue dots to assemble my arrangement, is because once I put dimensionals on the back, that's going to just additionally hold things in place. I'm going to use a mix of minis and standard size dimensionals. I think I need one more right there. Our card front is very close to done. I very much enjoyed using this Perennial Lavender set. Sorry, my voice is fading. Like I said, it's got several different choices of flowers. I saw one on there that I thought would make a beautiful delphinium. So that looks like good placement to me. And then I am going to, I didn't quite do the diagonal quite as dramatic as in my original card, but I'm just going to have to live with that. I am going to put, looks like there's a little bit of ink. I'm going to use my sand eraser. It looks like there's a little bit of ink right on the edge of this piece of paper, and I don't want that there. That's better. That looks much more clean. I'm going to put mini dimensionals on the back of my sentiment. I'm going to put 2 on one side. I'm going to stack 2 more right on top of those 2 to make it twice as high. I'm going to do the same thing over on this end. There we go. And then stack. Come on. There we go. I'm trying to drop it. Pull those backs off. Now the reason I made those double tall is because I've got dimensionals behind this stem down here. So I want to make sure that this bridge is well over the top. So I'm just laying this nice and straight across the bottom. And I have already used my linen thread double layer to tie a bow, and I've got a mini glue dot on the back of it. Didn't want you to have to watch me do that, so I've already got it set up and ready to go. There's kind of a natural cinch in the branches, and so that's where I'm going to put that bow right there. Then also in this collection are these beautiful gems, and these are called the Purple Fine Shimmer Gems. There's 3 different colors of purple. For this card, I'm using what looks like the closest to the Gorgeous Grape, which is the ones in the middle. To me, this looks like we've got, these almost look like Blackberry Bliss. They might say that they're Berry Burst, then Gorgeous Grape, and Highland Heather. But for this card, I am using the darker of the 2 purple purples. Actually don't like the placement of my second one. I might just switch that, just a little bit too much in the middle. And there's our card front. And we're going to bring in our inner card. Remember, I already stamped the inside, so I'm going to adhere that message liner to the matte layer. Just like that. Open up my card. I like to add, if you've watched me before, you've already heard me say this, but if you haven't, I like to add if I've got multiple layers on the front of my card, I like to add layers to the back, to the inside. I like to balance out the weight of my card. I don't like to have a flippy floppy card that is weak on the back side and strong and heavy on the front side. So I like to balance it out by putting some weight on the inside of the card as well. And there we go, my friends. So there we have, excuse me, we have our finished card. So I thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoy all of the videos from our very, very talented demonstrators, and enjoy this mini catalog. Hugs!